Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Peter Fury himself. Peter, first and foremost, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not bad, good.
Matty Harris, great performance in there. He said to me in my interview before I pushed record, said I didn't even get out of first gear. That's Matty not out of first gear. What more does he have to give?
He was just a little bit too relaxed in there, you know. He was told to get the rounds in, take the power off, work on his footwork. But obviously, he needed to come in behind the shots and close the distance better. But that's what I was telling him in the corner. But you know, he's got good 6 rounds in, so it's good enough.
Valuable rounds for somebody like Matt. He's only 25 years old, a young heavyweight. You know a lot of heavyweights. You've been in the heavyweight division for a long, long time. You know how important it is for these young heavyweights to get the rounds in and get that experience, because he didn't slip up, but he's had that shortfall in his loss a couple of years back. So the 6 rounds is very, very valuable at this stage of Matty's career.
Well, let's have a look at it in reality. If he'd have come out, he's very, very powerful. And if he'd have come out and he'd have went after Dan, although he's experienced, he hasn't got the ability to get away from Matt. So Matt would have probably exploded him in a round. What's he learning though?
Yeah.
You see, the power he's got naturally. So I'm not interested in that. When he got the rounds in, you could see where his shortfalls are. So getting rid of somebody in a round because he can punch means nothing. Big punches can be a downfall. It can be kryptonite.
Yeah.
So let's take the power off. Let's work on the boxing. I know people want to see a knockout, but this is a young kid coming up. He needs to get the rounds behind him. And this is the first time he's gone 6 rounds.
What's next for him then? Obviously, he's got the 6 round under his belt, and like I say, he's still young. 25, as you know, is young for a heavyweight. So what is next for Matty Harris going forward and getting him the matches that are going to progress his career?
I think what's next for Matty Harris, he needs to watch that video back. He needs to close the distance down, work on his jabs, and get out of first gear, go through the gears better. And we need like a Eastern European tough nut again.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Dobchenko maybe. Hopefully, Dobchenko, you need to take the rematch, by the way. But if we can't get him, somebody similar like that.
I think Matty would like to have that match right. Get right that wrong, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But we need somebody like him who's tough and knows his way around the ring.
I want to go on Hughie Fury, because Hughie Fury, man, I've known Hughie for a long time. I done my first interview with Hughie when he was a teenager, and he's 30 now. I checked a couple of weeks ago how old Hughie was. I can't believe he's 30 now. But for Hughie Fury, like, people say to me, how good could Hughie Fury be? And I say, well, you just need to look at his record. Povetkin, tough fight, but he done well. Parker, many people thought he won that fight, and Pulev, he had that nasty cut and he fought on and went to a decision. So we know that he's got it in him. We know that he can go for adversity with a cut against Pulev. So this calendar year, Hughie Fury, what can we expect from him?
Well, he's out on the 28th of June in Ireland. Yep. On a GBM. So let's have a look at him. He's feeling good. He's training well, and you know, he's ready for anybody. Look, it's not the fighters that won't fight Hughie. It's the promoters and whatever. They're looking at it. I know it's a business. He's high risk, low reward. They'll say at the minute. But look, Hughie Fury just needs to keep doing what he's doing, keep winning, because the opportunity's got to come. Because there ain't that many heavyweights, and he'll get his chance. And when he does, he's straight in there.
What do you have to do, if anything, Peter? I mean, you manage Hughie. You're his father. You're his coach. What do you have to do? You mentioned the promoters there. They don't want to get in with Hughie Fury, put their heavyweights in with Hughie. But what do you have to do? Do you have to do anything in particular? A message to these promoters? What?
Yeah, look, it's like this, you know. I've got a lot of faith in Izzy. You know, Mick Hennessy's Hughie's manager. Yep. I've got a faith in the team. I'll leave it to them. But basically, my job is to get Hughie ready for the fights. And believe me, he's ready. So let's see. I expect a very good performance out of him on the 28th.
World Championship, obviously, he's been gunning that. I remember doing an interview with Hugh, and this is no word of a lie, Peter. We were talking about being the youngest heavyweight since Mike Tyson, and he was talking about that. And he's 30 now. When can we see that world title fight? Do you think we'll get that in the next year and a half?
You know, I ain't got a crystal ball, but you know, if one come up tomorrow, he'd take it, wouldn't he? So he's experienced. He's had 30 odd pro fights now, so he's 30 years of age. He's over his problems. So let's get the fight. Let's get the fights made. Look, he's either going to do it or he's not.
Yeah.
Let's see.
One final one for me. Well, a couple more. On the heavyweight division, most of the time was a frightening heavyweight right now, only 20 years of age, and they're talking about him fighting a guy like Martin McCauley right now. We've talked about Matty Harris and developing his career at 25. When you hear of a 20-year-old heavyweight going in with somebody like Martin McCauley, who's big, he's strong, what do you think about that? Is that a good fight for Moses Tam at this stage of his career?
Listen, they know the team. He is. I've seen him up close, Moses Atuma. I think he's a fabulous young talent. He's got speed, he's got power, he's tough, he's game. He ticks all the boxes so far. So let's see. Again, he's young. You know, he's not really been tested because what he's doing to these opponents. So let's see. It's early days, but big future for him. If he continues on the road he's doing it, look, they know he looks ready for anybody.
Yeah, and like I said, Hughie went through it, like I talked about the adversity and the cut and the pull of the fight. You need to know what a young fighter, has he got it in him to go through that adversity and still get through the fight. And do you think that's what we need to see from Atama first?
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. And one final one from me, obviously Dubois, Usyk isn't far away, it's around the corner. Undisputed, I think it's the first time the Undisputed Heavyweight Champion's been fought in the UK. Dubois probably has feel so much confidence, way more confidence than he did going into the first Usyk fight.
Yeah.
Peter, what can we expect?
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight because Dubois got a lot better. So he'll be a different man this time. But I don't know, I just favour Usyk with the feet. Because look, to land that power, you've got to get there. And you've got to get there against a box of tricks in Usyk. He's been in with big punches. He's been in with the big heavyweights. He's mixed at the top. So I just feel on the sheer experience and just that ring craft what he's got, he'll negate that power. But he's got to be switched on for the full 12 rounds because one slip and the fight's upside down. So this is what I mean. You know, when you're boxing somebody like Dubois, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. And like I say, we all love heavyweights. Peter, as always, I appreciate your time as always, Peter. Good to see you again. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you.